What's up everyone, and today I'm bringing to you the 4th day in the 12 days of Yu-Gi-Oh! And today I got the True Draco Monarch deck. Now, True Draco Monarch is actually a deck profile I did only like 2-3 months ago, but people really liked it, got enough views, so it's back here again so shortly. And I actually did kind of change some things up with this deck, and I decided to kind of go in a little bit of a different direction with this one. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First, obviously, I run the one Dynamite Knight, the True Draco Fighter. Obviously, still at one. A card that I really think can come back, but they just haven't yet. Now, all the True Dracos have a really cool effect to where you contribute a continuous spell trap you can control to summon this card. So you don't have to tribute a monster to get the card out. And this one has a quick effect to either add or activate a trap directly from your deck whenever your opponent activates a effect. I run the 2 Ignis Heat. Ignis Heat is the same thing as Dynamite Knight, except instead of traps, it searches spells. And I run the 2 Maiden, which searches out the monsters. Now next, something actually, it's not really new for True Draco decks, but I finally decided to put it in. Because I just think it, at where the game is now, it's just a better option. And I run the 2 Inspector Border. Before I had a Vanity's Fiend, which just shuts your opponent from even, stops both people from special summoning entirely. But I changed the little things around in this deck, and I do a little bit of special summoning myself. Not a whole lot, but a very small amount. And I think Domain of the Monarch by itself is fine, and I don't really need the Vanity's Fiend as extra insurance. Meanwhile, the Spectre Border, I can just slap it on the field and it's already going to cause enough problems on its own. Inspector Border, if you don't know, basically, your opponent can only activate monster effects equal to the number of monster card types. Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Ecstasy, Pendulum, and Link. So the more they have of those, the more effects they can activate. If they don't have any, then they can't really activate any. It's a floodgate monster, more or less. Moving on to the spells, I run the 3 Disciples. Now, Disciples, or the True Draco spells and traps have really cool effects to where you can use their effects to basically tribute summon 1 True Draco or True King monster face up using this card as the material, more or less. And Disciples has a really cool effect where you can target 3 True Draco or True King cards in your graveyard, add them back to your deck to draw 1. Also run 2 True Draco Heritage. Heritage, you can draw a card equal to the number of True Draco monsters sent to the graveyard this turn. So if you basically use the Disciples effect to bring out the, say, the Dynamite Knight, you can draw 1. And if you send all 3, you can draw 3. I also run the 1 Dragonic Diagram. A card that I'm really sad kind of got limited to 1, but it's just a really good card. Not only do Ultra Draco cards gain turn attack and defense, and the first time each tribute summon True Draco would be destroyed by a Valor card effect, it is not. It has a search effect where you can destroy 1 other card you control in your hand or on your field. So basically, let's say you just gotta use this dead card in your hand, boom, gone. Now you got a True Draco card. Honestly, it's just a really powerful field spell, much like the 1 Mystic Mine I run. Which I don't think I really need to explain what Mystic Mine does at this point, because everyone knows what Mystic Mine does at this point. They don't like it, but it's effective. Next, I run the 3 Domain of the True Monarch. Basically, I cut all my Vanity's Fiend out and just maximize on the Domain of the True Monarch, since it is searchable with Terraforming and Pantheism. And all in all, I think it's just better than the Vanity's Fiend. Of course, I run the Terraforming as well. I run 3 Pantheism of the Monarchs. Pantheism of the Monarchs just really adds a whole lot of consistency to this deck. You send 1 Monarch spell trap card from your hand to the graveyard, draw 2 cards, so basically it's a 2 for 2 more or less. But the cool thing with Pantheism is that when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it, reveal 3 Monarch spell and traps, and your opponent adds 1 for you to add to your hand. So basically you can add, or you can reveal 3 copies of Domain. So more or less, you're getting a Domain on the field. I also run the 2 Monarch Stormforth. Stormforth is really cool. Basically, when you do tribute summon, you can tribute a monster your opponent controls instead. So instead of having to use one of your own cards, you can use one of your opponent's monsters instead. I also run the 1 March of the Monarchs. I run one March of the Monarchs just because it gives my cards a little protection. You can protect the True Draco monsters and all that. I also run the 3 Pot of Duality. We don't special summon during our turn for the most part, so Pot of Duality is just a really good card to add. If you don't really do a whole lot of special summoning or none at all, then you definitely want to run the 3 Pot of Duality. Moving to the traps, I run the 2 Apocalypse. Apocalypse is really cool because if you do, you can target 1 True Draco, True King card you control, destroy it, and if you do, the attack and defense of all face-up monsters your opponent controls becomes half their current attack and defense. And during your main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, during your opponent's main phase, immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon 1 True Draco, True King monster face up. And basically, you can use Apocalypse to destroy another Apocalypse to activate that effect. One of your 2 True Kings return. Yes, I'm finally playing True Kings Return. Because before I was playing Vandy's Fiend, so True King's Return just didn't really quite mesh too well with Vandy's Fiend. For True King's Return, you can target 1 True Draco or True King monster in your graveyard. Special summon in defense position. But for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon, which is fine because you really don't. Outside of the True King's Return is our only special summoning. And if this card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, target 1 monster in the field, destroy it. Now the Apocalypse also has that effect, so both of them when they're destroyed by, or they're sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can destroy a monster on the field. I also run the 3 Monarchs Erupt. With the Monarchs Erupt, if you have no cards in your extra deck and you control a tribute summon monster, negate the effects of all face-up monsters on the field. I also run the 3 There Can Be Only One. One of the best floodgates in the game. People still complain about it, and they probably will, until this card probably will eventually get banned. And lastly, I run the 3 Solemn Judgment to kind of like help protect my plays. Now, one option I was considering was the Lord of Heavenly Prisons, but I kind of opted not to do it because I won't really be protecting that much, because Solemn Judgment is really the only card that's pretty much going to remain set for the most part. So that's it for my True Draco deck profiling. Well, what do you think of it? Do you think it's pretty cool? Do you think it's a little bit better than the last build? Let me know in the comments. And yep, I will see you again tomorrow. We'll be doing Battle Wasp, which it's probably not going to be a pure Battle Wasp. It might be Battle Troopers. I'll see you then.